Broder was a restaurant owner from Washington, D.C. and a father to a newborn child. The jury found Myrick guilty.
On top of that, Myrick started doing some snitching. What is good, Rizzle fam? You know, the Atlanta rap scene's going through a very rough period right now. The RICO cases this year have been coming in like crazy, and that's caused a lot of speculation about whether or not some of their record labels really are involved in crime. As it turns out, we may have an answer in the near future because a YSL member snitched on Young Thug and allegedly had connections to 9 Trey and 4PF. Last year, we saw RICO cases against rappers coming in by the dozen. First, Glock 9 was arrested on 5 counts of attempted murder. He was released a few months later, only to get slammed with a new RICO charge and get taken into custody once again. NY got a case of its own as well. Jay-Z's protege Casanova also got slammed with a pretty nasty RICO, and it cost him a lot. However, ATL had the worst of all of them. First, it was YFN Lucci and the RICO indictment of 2021. Then 2022 came around and we saw the famous YSL record label and its members in one hell of a case. Thugger, Gunna, and over 20 other label members were locked up, and they're all sitting around waiting their respective trials. The prosecutor in that case made arguments that YSL was more of a criminal gang than a record label, and they managed to convince the judge to deny the bonds to Thug and Gunna several times.
Recent months, you've had 2 high-profile gang racketeering cases. There are going to be more.
Over the next 60 days, you'll see 2 more.
The Atlanta DA, Fani Willis, was sending out threats, saying there will be even more RICO cases coming in as well in the upcoming period. Now, even though hardcore evidence wasn't really showing up in the beginning, things are starting to change by the day. Believe it or not, there's a guy who came forth just recently, and according to his testimony, we might be looking at the worst case scenario for these YSL boys. So what exactly happened? Well, we got a new court update from their alleged associate, and he came out with a story that YSL is indeed a gang and not just a record label. The so-called associate of theirs is a guy named Jaden Myrick, who got convicted of homicide just a few days ago. But who is Jaden Myrick, and how did he get entangled in this whole YSL RICO case? Well, the incident that left Christian Broder heavily wounded and eventually dead took place in July 2018. Christian was shot outside the Capital City Country Club in Atlanta. According to the investigator's story, Broder was a restaurant manager who traveled to Georgia for a wedding. He and his family were reportedly outside the venue waiting for an Uber when the alleged YSL member Jaden Myrick and 3 other dudes allegedly pulled up and robbed them with their wallets, cell phones, and $20. But that wasn't the end of it. See, Christian thought that he could talk to the muggers and perhaps reach some sort of an arrangement, but that was a big mistake. After he came up to their car, he was shot by Myrick in the stomach, and 1 week later, Broder died from the injury. The outcry of disappointed citizens in Atlanta was more than obvious. People were in shock once they heard of the news, and they wanted the worst for Myrick. One person wrote, "These thugs need to be locked away for life. I'm so sick of what they're doing to Metro Atlanta. For $20 freaking dollars?" And this person added, "I'm so sick of giving the excuse that they were young and dumb. What a shitty thing to say. Lock them up and throw away the key." Myrick was arrested on July 13, 2018 and charged with aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. The charges were topped up as soon as the news got in that Christian Broder had died. Last week on Thursday, Myrick had his trial. Even though he denied that he shot Broder, he was still found guilty of multiple felony counts, including murder, armed robbery, aggravated battery, aggravated assault, and criminal gang activity. He was sentenced to life in prison without the chance of parole. But this is where things started getting interesting. Believe it or not, Myrick was listed among the 28 defendants in the whopping 88-page indictment that young Slime Life got smacked with. Not just that, but he's been a member of YSL since he was only 9 years old. On top of that, Myrick started doing some snitching in an attempt to reduce his sentence. That, unfortunately for him, did not work at all. Even though he leaked some info, he still got 3 life sentences. What he told the court was something that was not officially confirmed, but been somewhat expected. He said that YSL and 4PF, they're actually criminal gangs, as well as record labels. People seem to be confused about this whole deal. Why did he even take the stand? He knew very well that there was absolutely nothing that he could say or do that would help him out, and yet he still opted for it. He admitted because he has nothing to lose at this point, and you never know. If they get him to testify to this affiliation, he might get them life sentences with parole instead of without. Plus, I'm seeing a "if I'm caught, we all caught" in this generation. It's kind of scary. Dude said, "I'm going down, I'm taking someone with me." And that might just end up being true. Not only did Myrick take the stand, but he also called out some names that have been in the media quite a lot recently. He said that he was a part of the YSL gang, the Trey 9 gang, and the 4PF gang. Truth be told, he didn't say explicitly that 4PF is a gang, but since he put them in the same basket as Trey 9 and YSL, he was taken as nothing short of a gang, not only a record label. Moreover, it seems that the judge was right to deny the bonds of the YSL members. Turns out that Myrick intimidated witnesses just like the authorities thought would happen, and Myrick and another gang member tried stabbing YFN Lucci earlier in February, and that happened in the Fulton County Jail. All the telling led to very little change in Myrick's case. He's still going to serve life behind bars, and there's nothing that he can do in order to change that. This leaves us with a couple of new things to think about, really. It seems like Thugger is still pulling some strings, even though he's behind bars and won't be getting out anytime soon. He's really a mogul in ATL, and it's no wonder that the authorities are really trying to make a case against him. They want him gone, and that's that. On the other hand, for all the rap fans out there, it seems like the record labels 4PF and YSL are not as innocent as we once believed. Until the Myrick's case came in, there really wasn't a lot of official evidence that could stick against the whole group of people who were involved. Now, well, who knows? Maybe they can build something against him. This also brings some very grim news to Lil Baby and the boys of 4PF. There's already been plenty of rumors saying that a RICO might be coming their way, and with these recent developments, they might actually have a reason to slam yet another record label with racketeering charges. In the end, though, the only thing we could say for sure is that the tension is going to be rising in Atlanta. As DJ Akademiks and a lot of others rightfully noticed, rappers aren't so vocal about the gang life any longer. Looks like the Fani Willis and the Atlanta Police Department really made rappers from ATL think twice about what they rap about, and more importantly, what they do in real life. Do you all think that the recent developments are going to be changing anything about the upcoming YSL trials next year? Should 4PF members start to get worried, given that they've been pretty much accused of being a criminal gang in front of the court? Let us know what you think all about it in the comments section below. If you like this video, make sure to check this next one out. Be sure to click like and subscribe, and as always, remember to keep it real.